Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to the BU 365-Day Challenge. Today we're going to talk about progress. So check this out. Progress is the P in our SOAP framework. We're finalizing the SOAP framework today, speaking about and going through the process, our own very own process that we're installing in our subconscious to deal with any challenge or change or problem that comes down the pipe for us. Right now, I'm kind of sick and under the weather, so that's something I'm applying the SOAP framework to, or have already done on the side. I'm doing things. I've got my strategy and my cough drops and my hot tea or coffee, my Kleenexes. I've got a whole pile of Kleenexes available. Everything I need to do to keep me moving forward, even though I'm feeling under the weather. The same is true, and we can apply this SOAP framework, this simple 4-step process, to anything that comes our way, especially the things that are unexpected, right? And so if we have this installed in our subconscious, we'll automatically go through the process on a subconscious level. And then if it's something big that we need to pay attention to, like I'm feeling under the weather, I have to consciously do some things to make myself feel better, then we'll do those things, and we'll move the process up to our conscious, and we'll say, okay, what's my current story? What is my desired story? What do I want my story to be? I'm feeling under the weather. I want to feel healthy again, or I want to feel 100% healthy. What are my options? Well, and then I go through all the different options I could possibly use, and one of them was go get cough drops yesterday because I started coughing and coughing. So as we get to the P in SOAP, and then we talked about, we used the urine analysis yesterday, which is, kind of a health related thing, to analyze alternatives, pick an alternative, and take action on that. And now today we have to decide and know, how do we know if what we're doing, what action we took, is moving us toward what we want or not? There's a lot of different tools. We've talked about lots of different tools with respect to this and different ways to measure so that we know if we're moving toward what we want or not. And when it's a specific thing and very concrete, it's easy to tell when we get there, right? Like my SOAP, the problem, the challenge I'm SOAPing right now is a new software installation for my businesses, right? So it's pretty concrete. I can easily identify the milestone steps or the key steps to making that happen. And then as I get to each one, I can make a checklist and I can check them off. So I can really clearly measure and visualize and see visibly that I am making progress. And then when it's installed and operating properly, it's done, right? I've gone from my current state of old software to my desired state of the new software's installed, working properly on my business and then businesses. So how do we create a checklist? How could you create a checklist for whatever you're SOAPing right now? And again, we're not going to use it for little things, but we can use it for big things, right? And concrete things. Every tool that we have in our toolbox, we don't apply to every situation, right? A hammer isn't used, or a screwdriver isn't used for every problem. It's not the only tool that we've got. But this is one, excuse me, that we should have at our fingertips because it's so powerful. And I think we forget how powerful simple solutions and simple tools can be. In corporate America, I spent over a quarter century in corporate America, and one of the things I personally did that involved checklists was I would carry around these little blue notebooks, and I bought a pack of them, and then I bought a couple more packs as I was working for this organization. I worked there about 5 years, and I ended up with an entire box of these blue notebooks. But why I carried them around, and you would always see me carrying it, and they just happened to be blue because that was the color I ordered. There wasn't any reason they were blue. But I grabbed these little notebooks, and I always carried them around with me because one thing I noticed in corporate America was that a lot of people would say they would do something, but they never actually did it. Follow up, and this was, back in 2000 and early 2000s. And I learned that if I just did what I said I was going to do, and if I followed up with people, I got way more done. Number one, people trusted me and believed in me and knew that if they talked to me about something, that they didn't have to think about it or worry about it anymore because I would make sure it was taken care of. And so I think I became a pretty valuable resource to that organization. So how do you do that? I carried around a little blue notebook, and I did this exact same thing. I would write down the thing that I committed to doing, or when I was going to follow up or call or do whatever it was, or check on something or answer a question, whatever it was, I would write it down and I'd put one of these little check boxes in front of it. Why? Because at night before I went home, every single day, I would page through my notebook. Some days there'd only be one page. Other days there'd be like 10 pages of things that I had to check through. And as I completed or followed up or did that thing, I would check it off. So I knew I was making progress. So even on the times when things were slow and I didn't feel like I was making a lot of progress, and especially come review time, I could go back through these notebooks and see all of the things that we'd gotten accomplished. And so it made it an easy way to keep track of progress, especially in terms of things that are sort of a soft skill area, where how do you really demonstrate follow-up and trustworthiness and leadership and things like that, and communication skills. Well, this was one little tool that I came up with, and I probably don't even know. I probably just used to like checklists because I did. And I thought, well, if I just walk around with a notebook, I'll make sure I touch base with people or do what I say I'll do. And it really served me well, which is why I like to share it. But it's easy to make a checklist. All we have to do is think about what's our current situation versus our desired situation. And then we just brainstorm, and I guarantee your list is going to be 100%. It won't be 100% wrong, but it's not going to be 100% right. I 100% guarantee it's not going to be 100% right, your checklist. So just pick a few things and make a list of like the big things, the milestones, or the way you know that you're moving toward what you want. And maybe one of them is I do a daily check-in with my feelings to see if I feel like I'm making progress or not. And if I feel like I'm not making progress, I look and I've done a whole bunch of things to move me from C to D, then I have to ask myself, what belief is getting in the way, or what thing am I thinking or focusing on that is preventing me from moving even faster toward what I want? So it's kind of a little discussion around that. So just make a checklist, C to D, checklist. List some things, and then as you accomplish them, check them off. That used to give me such a great sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. If I could page back and I could see that of 20 things, I only had 2 left to move to tomorrow, or if I just had to do a couple things to finish those off, that always, every single day, I felt like I had a successful day, even on the super bad days, because I had accomplished some of the things that were moving me forward and moving the company forward. All right, any questions about this? Hit me up. Action item today, create your own checklist. And whether you use it or not is up to you, but create a checklist for this particular situation that you're dealing with the soap, and see, number one, see how good it makes you feel just to make a checklist. Because a lot of times we think that it's so much harder to get to where we want than it is. But as we make a checklist, we're like, oh, I can skip 3 things on this checklist I make, because I've already done those in the past. So I know I can do them quickly and easy like today. All right, any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye.